Good evening, students. In this video we are going to learn about Newton's laws of motion. So while most people know what Newton's laws say, many people do not know what they mean. So you had Newton laws in your lower standard also, but in this standard we are going to learn a little bit more advanced manner, in an advanced manner. So let us see what all these three laws are. So the first law tells us that an object at rest will stay at rest, and an object in motion will stay in motion unless at constant velocity unless acted upon by an unbalanced force. That is to say, if you have an object and it is at rest, then this object will remain at rest. It will not move unless there is an external force. So we all are familiar with this first part. That is to say, if something is kept on a table, if this is a table and on a table there is a flower pot, this flower pot will not move on its own. So there is no force acting on it, so it will not move. So to move it, to displace it from one place to the other, you have to apply force. This is something we all know. But the second part is little bit intriguing. It says an object in motion will stay in motion at constant velocity. So if something is moving, then it will keep moving. It will not stop unless there is an external force. Now this is little bit interesting, because you see, for example, if you have a long football ground and this is a football, this is a goalkeeper, and the goalkeeper shoots the football, and the football goes like this to some height, it bounces, it rolls, and then comes to a stop. It doesn't keep rolling forever, it comes to a stop. Now why does it comes to a stop? It comes to a stop because of friction. So there is a frictional force between the grass and the surface of the football. So it causes the football to stop. If the frictional force was zero, then the football will keep rolling forever. It will never stop. If the friction is zero, I'm sorry. So this is what happens in space, by the way. In space we have a satellite called Voyager 1. We have sent a satellite called Voyager 1, and it is hurtling in space with a tremendous speed. And this motion will continue unless it is obstructed by something. So there is nothing to stop. So in space you have vacuum, pretty much vacuum, so there is nothing to stop. So this satellite will keep hurtling forever unless it is obstructed by something. So this is what Newton's first law tells us. It tells us that every object at rest will remain at rest, every object in motion will remain in motion unless an external force is applied. Second law, force equals mass times acceleration. So this is the second law. Force, let me use a different color. Force is equal to mass into acceleration. So what does this equation tell us? This tells us that if there is force, then there will be acceleration. If there is acceleration, then it is because of some force. So this is the two-way consequence of this second law. Nothing will accelerate without force, and if you want to accelerate something, you have to apply force. As simple as that. The third law: for every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. So you must have seen a rocket. A rocket goes up. It goes up because the fuel pushes out. To understand this in a different way, consider the example of a balloon. So consider you have inflated a balloon, and you just hold it at the end. Here you hold it. Okay. When you remove the hold, there is a hole. So the air gushes out. All the air gushes out, and this balloon will go in a very random manner in a forward direction. You must have seen this in cartoons. So the cartoon gets inflated due to some reason, and a small hole makes him move forward. So the air comes out and the balloon goes in the forward direction unless all the air is removed. Now why does this happen? It's because all the air gushes out with a small hole, so it goes in this direction. There is a force in this direction, and now there has to be equal and opposite force in this direction, and due to this equal and opposite force, the balloon moves forward. And that is the third law. Every action has an equal and opposite reaction. Next. So the first law is also called as the law of inertia. Inertia is the tendency of an object to resist any change in state. So we just discussed what the first law is. Now first law is the way it is because of something called inertia. Inertia is resistance towards change of state. That is to say, in our example over here, the object tends to be at rest because it resists any change in its state. Likewise, a moving object, for example a satellite, it moves forward without any hindrance, is because this state of motion, which is uniform velocity, continues to be like that because it resists to stop. So there is again a resistance towards any change. So if it is moving, it wants to keep moving. If it is at rest, it wants to be at rest. It doesn't want to change the state of its motion. So that is what we have, and it is called inertia. This property is called inertia. So in the diagram you see pumpkins. These pumpkins will not move on their own. Why then do we observe every day objects in motion slowing down and becoming motionless seemingly without an outside force? That is mostly because of friction, as I said, the football and the goalkeeper example. So friction may not be visible to us, but it is at play. Objects on earth, unlike the frictionless space the moon travels through, are under the influence of friction. So on earth everything is under friction. So a train rolling on the track will stop if the engine is stopped because of friction. It will not keep rolling forever. It will roll for some time, but eventually it will come to a halt. That is because of friction. Second law. So second law is mass into acceleration, as we just discussed, and the net force of an object is equal to the product of its mass and acceleration. When mass is in kilograms, acceleration is in meter per second square. That is meter per second per second. And the unit of force is Newton. Newton is the name of the scientist, as you all know, and we commemorate force by assigning the unit in his name, Newton. Force of x newtons. 1 Newton is equal to the force required to accelerate 1 kilogram of mass at 1 meter per second per second. So there is something called 1 force. You must have a feeling for 1 Newton. How much is 1 Newton? So 1 Newton is this. If you have 1 kilogram of mass and you apply a force such that it accelerates with an acceleration of 1 meter per second square, then the force you applied is 1 Newton. Second law, force is equal to mass into acceleration. So this is what we just did. So here we have something like fill in the blanks, which we can do. So 20 dash 5. So how much should be the mass? So 5 into x should give us 20. So 5 into what gives us 24? 5 4s are 20. So 4 is the answer. So if the mass is 4 kilograms, acceleration is 5, we get 20 newtons. Now how much force is produced in the last fill in the blank? 10, because 10 into 1 is 10. So Newton's second law proves that different masses accelerate to the earth at the same rate, but with different forces. So I suppose this you will learn when you will learn something called gravity. Right now we are yet to explore something called gravitational law, so we will not discuss this part. Alright, check your understanding. What acceleration will result when 12 Newton of force is applied to 3 kg object and 6 kg object? So let us take this question. So this is like the evaluation part. So what acceleration will result when sorry, this is printed 2 times for some reason. Okay, now it is sorry. What acceleration will result when a 12 Newton of force is applied to a 3 kg object and a 6 kg object? So you have force is equal to 12 Newton and acceleration is something we don't know. Mass is 3 kg. Now we use the formula for force from second law. Force is equal to mass into acceleration. So here we don't know acceleration. So A is force upon mass. So the force is given to be 12 Newton mass is given to be 3 kg, and how much will be this, how much this will be? 12 divided by 3, which is 4 Newton per kg, which is 4 meter per second square. So the acceleration in the first case is 4 meter per second square. When you have mass as 6 kg, so the second part tells us that mass is 6 kg for the same force. So here the acceleration is 2 meter per second square. So see, if the mass, if you apply certain force, this will accelerate more, and this will accelerate less, because it is lighter. The first object is lighter, so more acceleration is produced. So see, this is force is mass into acceleration. So if this goes up, this has to go down. So if mass increases, acceleration decreases, such that the product has to remain the same, because the force is the same. So this is what we have. I will give you one more example. Consider there is a tug of war. So here there is a rope, and these are the participants. So assume that these are girls and these are boys. So you have boys and these are girls. So if both the teams apply equal forces, then who wins? Nobody wins, because the forces are equal. So if you apply an equal force on a certain object, then the force is balanced. So it is balanced and they both are equal to 0. So F1 plus F2 is 0. So in order to produce acceleration, this force, the net force, has to be non-zero. So over here the force which we discuss is a net force, a non-zero net force. If it is 0, then it can be something like this. So over here we see the girls and the boys are equal in the tug of war. Nobody wins, nobody loses. So this is what we have, another consequence of force. Next question. A net force of 16 Newton causes a mass to accelerate at this rate, 5 meter per second square. Determine the mass. So let us do this problem now. So we have a force of 16 Newton and an acceleration of 5 meter per second square. We have to find mass. So again we use the formula of F is equal to ma, and over here we don't know m. So m is equal to force upon a, which is 16 divided by 5, and 16 divided by 5 will be something in the decimal. So you will have 3.2 kg. 3.2 kg. So this will be the mass. So this is how we use F is equal to ma. F is equal to ma is very important equation. You will see this equation a lot in the future standards also, higher standards also. So this equation plays a very key role. Now we discuss the third law and the final law a little bit more. So we just said every action has an equal and opposite reaction. So over here, according to Newton, whenever object A and B interact with each other, they exert forces upon each other. When you sit in your chair, your body exerts a downward force on the chair and the chair exerts an upward force on your body. So what this tells us is, if you place something on the table, this is the table, and you place something on the table, an object on the table. Now this object applies a downward force on the table due to gravity. At the same time, the table applies an upward force, equal and opposite. It has to, otherwise this will accelerate. And this force applied by the table is called normal force. So whatever the name, F table is same as F gravity. Equal and opposite. You see these arrows, these two arrows are opposite in directions and they are equal in length. So opposite directions, equal in length. This is what we have as a third law. There are two forces resulting from interaction of force on the chair and the force on your body. These two forces are called action and reaction forces. So over here, this is the action force and this is the reaction force. So there are action and reaction forces involved due to Newton's third law. Consider the propulsion of a fish through the water. A fish uses its fins to push water backwards. In return, the water reacts by pushing the fish forwards, propelling the fish through the water. So you see, fishes are related to the subject of botany and zoology. And how do fishes move forward? They propel themselves forward using Newton's third law. So Newton's third law is used to move forward. Likewise, the ships, big ships. So if you have this as water, so this is water, and on the water there is a huge ship. So this ship has a propeller, and this propeller makes the ship move forward. So it goes round and round. So this creates a force over here, and due to this force, the ship moves forward. This also involves Newton's third law. So it is related to engineering. In engineering, Newton's third law is used in a extensive manner. Birds also use Newton's third law. So flying gracefully through the air, birds depend on Newton's third law of motion. As the birds push down on the air with their wings, the air pushes their wings up and gives them lift. So this is how bird uses the third law. So these are various examples for Newton's third law. There could be more such examples as you see in the diagram. The baseball and the bat, when they strike each other, Newton's third law is involved. Motion of the car on the way to school, the car is equipped with wheels which spins backwards, and the wheels spin backwards. As the wheel spins backward, they grip the road and push the road backwards. Thereby the vehicle moves forward. So vehicles moving forward on the road also involves Newton's third law. So there could be many such examples. So this is what we have. And the rocket, as I mentioned earlier also, rocket uses Newton's third law fantastically. So all the fuel spews out in a very rapid rate from the bottom part, and that pushes the rocket forward, pretty much like a balloon with a hole. So when a balloon is punctured with a hole, the all the air in the balloon gushes out through that hole, and the balloon moves forward. Likewise, the rocket moves forward. So evaluation, we did evaluation in these numerical problems. So these numerical problems were the evaluation part. Homework is this. So please make a note of this homework. There are two qualitative questions which you will write in your book. So I hope this concept of Newton's laws is clear and everyone understood all the three laws of Newton. I thank you for watching.